Please welcome the recently retired head basketball coach at the University of North Carolina. Please welcome Roy Williams to Packer and Durham this morning, live from the front porch. Good morning, Coach. How are we?
You guys doing all right this morning?
We're good. I appreciate you doing this. I jokingly just said going to break, I'm surprised you're not on the way to a small bucket of balls this morning.
Still a little chilly. I drove 11 hours. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm waiting to do that a little bit later today.
Coach, how much fun has it been watching Hubert Davis and this North Carolina team turn it around from, hey, I'm not sure what this is going to be in January, to, hey, let's go to New Orleans and win a national championship? How much fun has it been for you?
You know, Mark, it's been great. And you and I both know there were a lot of naysayers out there snipping here and snipping there. The good news for me is I never look at social media. One reason why I can't get on it. But I never look at that stuff. But I knew it was out there. My buddies would say something. And I know that Hubert, the same thing. He wasn't paying attention, but his people would say something. And, you know, so after that, you know, just watching the games and seeing our team get better and better all year long was really a lot of fun. And during the games, I'm more nervous than I ever was in any game I ever coached. I tell you the funniest thing, and I don't want to talk your whole show, but seriously, for 33 years, most of the games, I would never look at the score in the first half. I wanted to decide how we were playing because what I thought, not just looking to score. You know, the other team may bank one in and you play great defense, or you run a great play and they just missed a layup or whatever. So I would never look at the score until I'd walk off the floor at the Smith Center and then look up at the clock right up above the tunnel. And now Caleb's got the ball, and I look at the score, and he passes to RJ, and I look at the score again. Not even a daggum shot's been taken. And so I look at the score every single possession. You know, it doesn't change when the basket doesn't go in, and I'll look at it again as the team starts going down. But it's a lot more nervous for me. And during the course of the game, I don't know that I was never nervous a single time in a basketball game. I was just trying to decide what was next. But sitting there in the stands, oh, my gosh, it's a different deal, boy.
Can I tell you that there used to be a radio announcer that did your games, retired in 2011, and his first year sitting in the seats, he didn't like it very much either. He said it was a lot different and a little bit more uncomfortable, to be honest with you.
Well, I don't know that I would say it's uncomfortable because, you know, it's I enjoy making our runs. And when the other team's making their runs, I just try to say, okay, we've got to do this better. We got to do that better. But no, to me, I'm always in the games when I coached, I never thought about the outcome. And, you know, it's about, you guys have heard golfers talk. They think about the routine, whatever their key is in their swing. And during the basketball games when I was coaching, it was always next play. But during the sitting in the stands, I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, we're down 5 and there's 44 minutes left in a 40-minute game. But I'm still nervous about the dadgum game, the outcome. And I never thought about the outcome when I was coaching.
Listen, you're down in Charleston, South Carolina, which is one of the great cities in America. You're going to go hit balls later this afternoon. You're talking about getting nervous. I can only imagine what you're going to be going through on Saturday when your good buddy Jay Wright's in the Final Four, your relationship with the University of Kansas and what it means to college basketball, your ties to the University of North Carolina, enough said, and the relationship you've got with Duke because you've been part of the incredible tradition and history. You know, I kidded around the other day that this Final Four is my kind of Final Four, but Roy, quite frankly, this is your kind of Final Four.
The blue bloods are here, aren't they, boys?
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, there's no somebody looking for a magic slipper. It's, you know, I hate it for Jay. God almighty, the more kid getting hurt. And, you know, how can you have anything worse than that? That's the biggest negative of the whole thing is that kid has been a big-time player. I loved him when he was in high school many years ago. And to tear his Achilles, as soon as he went down, I'm sitting there watching the game with my 2 oldest grandsons, and I said, I think he just tore his Achilles. And so that's the sad thing. But other than that, it's just a really high quality, high level. And, you know, you got a 1 and you got a 2. And I get, was Villanova a 4 or what was Villanova?
2. A 2.
Okay, so you got 1, 2, 2, 8. And I happen to think we're playing better than anybody, but still got to play on game day.
the Carolina Duke event on Saturday night, I mean, for all the years you've seen this, is it unique, and is the key to keep it normal and make it just like a normal Carolina Duke game if such a thing exists?
Well, I think it's a heck of a lot more normal than the last game was over at Cameron. That was the one that was the event. But I think this is Final Four, and you can forget about who's coaching, who's leaving coaching, who used to coach, who was a coach 500 years ago. Play the freaking game. And so to me, this one's more normal. And, you know, the fact that it's at the Final Four, you know, I know some people say, God, I wish it was on Monday night. Well, my God, so does Mike and Hubert. They wish it was on Monday night too. But the bottom line is it's a big-time game. First time I was ever in the Final Four. 1991, we played North Carolina, and I thought that was a big-time game. I was coaching at Kansas, but the other game was Vegas and Duke, and everybody acted like that was for the daggum national championship. A general basketball fan, if you ask who won the national championship in 91, they'll say Duke, that Duke won. They beat Vegas. And that really ticks me off because, by God, we were in the game, you know, but all the attention was on the Duke Vegas game. And Mike did maybe one of his best jobs he's ever done by not letting the kids get too overwhelmed, because Vegas had beaten them like 30 the year before. And he didn't let them get too overwhelmed about revenge or that game, and we just beat them. And he said, hey, we got to play again on Monday night. And even the other day, Seth Reese and Huggy were on the air, and they talked about the first game when Duke won their first national championship. And I forget who said it, but it said when Duke won the first national championship, they didn't have the best talent, but they had him. Well, that ticked me off because, God Almighty, they had Bobby Hurley and Grant Hill and Christian Laettner, and you guys know basketball. You won't be able to name 3 starters for my Kansas team. And only one of them ever got drafted. So when he won his first national championship, he did have more talent than the other team. Both of you tried. Name 3 starters from my 91 team that played for the national championship.
Mark Randall.
Yep.
All right. Richard Scott.
Nope.
No.
Oh.
Was Pollard on that team?
Was Pollard on the team?
Nope. And you two guys are experts. God Almighty.
Kevin Pritchard on that team.
You know, nope. Coach, you want to tell ironic about? I told this story the other day. I was at the game, and it's my favorite Final Four because it had such an incredible storyline. And I've always wanted to ask you this question. I never have, but I mean, we know how that your semifinal game ended against North Carolina, and Pavia throws Dean out of the game, which was crazy. Well, what did he say to you when he shook your hand? Do you remember that exchange?
Yeah. Oh God, I remember it like it was this morning. Walked down. He said, "You know, I didn't do this intentionally." And I said, "I know that, Coach. It just pisses me off. Excuse my language, because I always thought it was the most ridiculous thing ever. The person of Coach Smith's status and the statue and of that stature, and at that moment in the game, it was ridiculous. The game was already over with." And so for somebody to act like it, they wanted to be a big shot. So, and Pete Pavia is a good official, but he made a bad judgment, in my opinion, in that game. But I'll tell you, I'll get you guys in. You can beat anybody in the world on a trivia question. 91 Duke with Bobby Hurley, Grant Hill, Christian Laettner, Thomas Hill, Tony O'Lang, all those guys. They beat North Carolina, the Kansas team. They started Adonis Jordan, Terry Brown, Alonzo Jameson, Mike Maddox, and Mark Randall. Now, you tell me they didn't have better talent than the other team.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on,
you're
man.
right. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
That this Final Four, I do really believe, will be about the game. The last game in Cameron was about Mike, but I think this is going to be about the game.
Can I share something with you, because I know how much you thought of this guy, and we ran 2 lists today. First-year coaches to make the Final Four, of which Hubert Davis joins the list, and coaches in their last year to make a Final Four. Do you know who's on both lists? Bill Guthridge.
He was my coach. That doesn't surprise me. I think I would have gotten that. I really do believe I would have gotten that. You know, Al McGuire, his last game, they won it, and I was in there watching it. I'm the really intelligent basketball coach at Owen High School and did a pool for all the faculty. And so I drew the pool. I drew Marquette. And I thought, golly, bum. And the principal, Drew Tennessee, they had the Ernie and Bernie show. So I traded. I gave Marquette to my high school principal and took Tennessee. That's how smart this basketball coach was.
But in some ways, isn't it remarkable Bill Guthridge is on that list for both, Coach? But just because of how good a basketball mind he was?
No, he was as good as you can be. And he understood the things that he was not strong at and had people around him who were strong. He was so intelligent, so organized, so competitive that it doesn't surprise me. And I loved the man. I really did. And like I say, I played for him on the freshman team. But that's a trivia question that you can ask 100 times, and 101 times people will miss that one.
All right, so the key for a North Carolina win against Duke, I'll let you put your coaching hat on now, is what Saturday?
Oh, it's easy. Ball's got to go in the daggum basket.
No, I get that part. That's easy. Hey, now I know you're on the front porch.
That's right. Hey, just think in this terms right here. The ball always looks better. I mean, everything looks better when that ball goes in the basket. But, all right, they kicked our tails the first game. In the second game, we kicked their tails. And they were so emotional, I thought it was just off the charts. But I would have loved to have coached that game at Cameron because nobody, except for Roy Williams, thought North Carolina was going to win the game. And I'm serious. Nobody thought they were. But I really thought we had a great chance. And if I were a betting man, I would have bet on North Carolina because all the pressure was on Duke. Now it's going to be about a basketball game. Duke's got unbelievable talent, and when their shots are going in, they can beat anybody. We've got really good talent. And when our shots are going in, when Caleb and RJ are making some of those shots, Brady Manick's one of the greatest shooters I've ever seen. When he's making his shot, that gives Armando all that space inside. Now, Mark Williams is a big-time challenge for Armando. But to answer your question, I think the team that can stay focused and poised the longest, because I think it'll go down to the end of the game, the team that stays focused and can stay in control of their emotions longest part of the game, I think they're going to win the game. I think it's going to be a great game. Mike is one of the best of all time, and he's got pressure on him and all the attention. I think in some parts has been a negative, but at the same time, he's got a big time team. We've got a big time team that I think is playing better basketball than anybody else in the tournament right now. We've got a coach, Hubert Davis, who's fantastic. I don't care. First year, last year, it doesn't make any difference. Secretariat won the Triple Crown. He won it only one time. Well, that's the only time he ran the daggum thing. And, it's this right now. It's this game Monday night. And Hubert has my expectations for Hubert Davis are off the charts. And I pushed so hard to get him to be our coach. And I tell you, I was happier. And I mean this, guys. I was happier after that game take them to the Final Four than any game I've ever coached in my life. And let's be honest, you guys, I don't read the social media. I couldn't get social media. I don't know what the hell Instagram is, YouTube, whatever it is. I don't know any of that stuff. But I know there were people snipping at him for a long time. And I told him, I said, don't look at this stuff. But people around you look at it. People around you, sometimes your family members see it. And so that's something that I was so disgusted with. But I tell you, boys, he's as good as there is, and he's only going to get better. So this is going to be a great night for Hubert Davis. It's going to be a great night for college basketball, and I'm as excited as I can be.
Before we let you go, real quick, this is in Mississippi. The Mississippi River runs through New Orleans. I know how you are about the Mississippi, so I'm going to guess there'll be a walk on Saturday, and if it goes well Saturday, you'll be walking down by the river on Monday?
Well, let me ask you a question. First of all, I'm sure you lost me for a second because there was another call coming in. But Wes, New Orleans is in Louisiana. You said It was in Mississippi.
No, I said the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River, Coach, is in New Orleans.
You said Mississippi. You left.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right.
Bet you a golf.
I'll buy you a dozen. I owe you one. But are you going to take that river walk on Saturday?
Yeah, for some reason it seems just sort of the right thing to do. It's not that big a deal, but yeah, I'll be there. Let me tell you guys, every time I've been there and spit in it, it worked every time except one. So it's got a pretty good percentage.
Coach, I know you probably don't care, but I just checked on Twitter, which is social media. They think that you're the best guest we've ever had, but that doesn't matter, right? That's a non-factor.
Well, if my mom was alive, she would have always, and she knew anything about Twitter, she would have gone on there 1,000 times. So it may not be up in heaven somewhere. She's rigged that contest, boy.
Yeah. Hey, best to Wanda. Thank you for the time. Hope to see you this weekend.
All right, guys, I'll be down there. Look forward to seeing you guys. And you guys, and I say this very sincerely, you guys have been fantastic. I see about one show out of every 100 and hear you about one out of every 100. But I've never heard anybody say anything bad about what you guys are doing. So keep it up. You guys have been great, and you're great for the ACC.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it. Be well.